Welcome to We Grew Up Married. My name is Jorge. I'm my wife, Elena.
We're a pastoral couple that got married at 18 and 19, and now, almost 30 years later, we've grown through every season of marriage together, from raising children to becoming grandparents.
From ministry to real life challenges.
We didn't just build a life together, we literally grew up together. And this podcast is about real conversations on marriage, faith, family, and the reality of growing together. So, wherever you're at, pull up a chair,
And join us in our conversation today.
which is
Yes, the bank of trust in marriage.
I'm excited about this. This is actually a good topic. And we kind of mentioned a little bit this statement in one of our previous podcasts. We were talking about, our relationship bank. And we really like that. So we kind of going to make it a podcast today, which we're on episode 5, believe it or not. This is going by really fast.
Yes, yes.
So of course, every marriage has an invisible bank, right? Which is what we've mentioned before, and that invisible bank, we'll call it trust. It sounds like a bank that's already out there, but that's not where we're going with this.
Yes, you cannot see it. That's the interesting
Right,
thing. You
right.
cannot see it, but it's there.
But it's there.
Every word, every action, every gesture that you make, that you when you keep your promises, it's like depositing in the bank.
Correct.
When you are
It's a transaction.
when you don't keep your word, when you don't follow through what you have promised, it's like you're doing a withdrawal. So the bank exists in our minds, but it's there.
Right.
And it is a beautiful thing when we know as a couple that we need to make deposit in our trust account.
Right. Well, the strength of a marriage or of a relationship is not necessarily determined by how much love you profess. I can tell you I love you every day, but if I'm being mean to you, ugly to you, hitting on you, hitting you, or being nasty to you, that's not really matching what's coming out of my mouth, but by how much trust is available in the account when difficult seasons arrive, because I have not only told you I love you, but I do acts of love. I care for you. I, share our lives together. We pray together. We build this relationship. We're constantly depositing, into that account, so that when those difficult times come, that we're able to pull from that account, right? That withdrawal, that transaction is available there.
Yeah, and one of the things that people struggle most in their own relationship, and even we have to learn that,
Right.
is how can I be honest when difficult times comes? If you want to do a big withdrawal from trust,
Right.
from your bank account, when it comes to trust, it's when you hit difficult times, is when is the most challenging part
Yeah.
of our relationship. For example, when words does not match reality, that's a withdrawal. But when words match the reality, in what you're expressing or whatever you're addressing with your partner,
Yeah.
that is a deposit in the trust account.
For me, a really hard line is I need to be able to trust you. As you guys know, being in the pastoral world and ministry, we're surrounded by people all the time. And if I can't have trust in him when he's having to have conversations with people of every kind, right? Every background, every sex, every age group. If I can't have trust in him, then, I mean, how difficult would our life be, right? Because then a lady will call him, right? And what if I don't trust him? I'm like questioning in my mind, oh, is he like cheating on me? Who is that lady? I've never done that. First of all, that's not
That's not who you are.
that's not who I am. But aside from that, you've never caused me to have doubt of you, right? One, because you share with me conversations because you're transparent with me, which we'll talk more in a little bit. But it builds that trust, and then I don't have to be like questioning your honesty. I don't have to question with you when you tell me, hey, babe, I have a meeting and it's 10 o'clock at night and you're still not home. I don't have to wonder, oh no, did he lie to me? He's probably somewhere else, I don't know, having coffee with somebody. I don't have to think about that. That's not something that happens between us. And it's the same vice versa. A lot of times I have to work late, right? I'm in the office. And the call is never about, hey, where are you and who are you with? It's more of like, babe, when are you coming home? Because he already knows that I'm at work. Unless I haven't told him.
Yes.
Which sometimes I will forget. Hey, I'm still at work,
Yes. Hey, the only time that you cannot say anything to your spouse is when you wanted to surprise
right.
her or him with something.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something that is very important. Every time that I had a meeting with a female or a male, I tend to be very transparent with that and let you know ahead of time.
Right.
I tell you, baby, I have a meeting with so and so, and I'm gonna meet at the church, or sometimes I said I'm gonna meet at the restaurant. Why? Because you never know who's who's watching, and if they see the pastor meeting with a lady eating in a restaurant that is, and they know you, and they know that that's not your wife,
right?
It is very easy for someone to call you and say, hey, Elena, I saw your husband with so and so in a restaurant,
and he has female elders as well.
Yeah. You already know. Yeah. Oh yes, I know. He told me already.
Yeah, he's an amazing. So, do you remember when we used to live in this little small town? And where I worked, the manager and I sometimes had to do work trips, like short, within the city limits, but to other offices. And it's funny because I will let him know, because it was a small town, and believe it or not, everything spread like wildfire. So I would let him know, hey, I'm going to be, traveling with so-and-so. I'm not going to say his name, but just letting you know in case anybody sees us, because at some point we're going to have to stop and eat lunch, right? So now I'm going to be on a date. Not really, but that's what people think about automatically with some man that, again, is not my husband. So it's just about communication, right? It's just about communication.
It's so interesting because that is being proactive. Proactive mean in your relationship is you anticipate yourself to any issue or problem that can arrive, could come out, because you have not been transparent enough with your spouse.
Yeah.
And I think if it's something that we have been able to be better at as year pass by.
I think we do very well. Yes, at this, honestly.
Yes. We are constantly telling each other
everything,
our agenda. Not because you wanted to know what I'm doing and micromanage my time or anything like that. It's just the way I develop my trust in my partner. If I'm heading this way, I told you, hey, I'm going to this place. Or I'm going to another meeting after this.
Yeah.
It's just an accountability.
Correct.
You wanted to make sure that even something as simple as the track on your phone.
Oh yeah.
Where you are.
Yeah.
People say, why your wife, or why you are tracking your wife.
Right.
It's not because you are doubting of what they are telling you. It's just true. It's just even a matter of safety issue. I want to make sure that she's okay. I want to make sure that if the car breaks down, I know where she is located and things like that. That's part of being transparent.
Absolutely.
And I think transparency is built on the foundation of love. When you love someone, you wanted to expose yourself and be more open.
Absolutely.
It's like an open book.
Absolutely. I like what Proverbs 12:22 talks about. The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy. And I think if you can focus on that within your marriage, and allow that honesty to come through and bleed through at every point, your bank is going to be fuller, you know. Am I telling the whole truth? Why do I have to be wondering if you're telling me the whole truth? No, I am. Am I hiding information that my spouse should know? You know, that whole concept of I'm not lying, I was just withholding. That's just as bad. That
That's bad.
creates, well, and it creates a doubt, right? And I don't want anything that's happening in my life to create doubt in you, and then our trust is impacted because of that. That is not the goal. That is not what I want in my marriage. I don't want that from you, and I don't want to create that for you either, you know, like for myself. So, yeah, being honest, even when it's difficult, I think creates a really, really solid foundation. What about keeping your promises? I know we touched a little bit on that, but and sometimes it's smaller things. I think when our kids were little, I used to tell you this a lot. Because you want to take your kids on an outing, or remember, I don't know if you remember this, especially our oldest daughter. If you give her a promise and something happened and it couldn't happen because, you know, life happens.
She will tell you. She will call you out.
She would call them out. But the biggest thing is that she didn't know, like for her, it was such a huge disappointment. So I started realizing that started creating her a level of doubt. And because, again, he's a pastor, a lot of times our life is managed by situations that come up by others.
Unexpected.
Yeah. And so we have to learn how to like roll with the punches. But how do you explain that to a little kid? They don't understand that. Daddy promised me, right?
Yeah.
This is what comes out of their mouth.
I remember one time you said to me, it's better for you not to make any promises because your schedule sometimes is so crazy that it's better to surprise her than just to say, "Oh, I will be there,"
right?
Or I will take you to this place.
Yeah, which is where I was going. Not only that, but we have to learn to kind of tell her, we will try, but I can't promise anything. And this is where I was going with that. I think sometimes, even within the marriage, and I'm talking, you know, for children as well, for your family as a whole, if you cannot for certain know that something's going to happen, or for certain know that you have control of that situation, don't promise. Because then you're held onto something that you may not be able to fulfill. Not because you don't want to, not because your heart is not in it, but it's more of like life happens, right?
And guys, listen, and ladies, sometimes it's not the big things.
No,
it's the small thing. Right. I remember you called me out, and part of doing this is being transparent. And there were times when I did withdraw from my trust bank account. For example, something as simple as, "Can you take the garbage out?" And I said, "Yes, I will do it early in the morning." And early in the morning you forgot about it, and you come in the afternoon back home, and the garbage still in the same place, or you already took it out. That little thing is something small. It doesn't have to be big.
It does start creating doubt.
But it started creating, my husband is not worth trusting in his word, because I mean, and that is not an isolated occasion.
No.
You don't lose trust because
one time that happens.
Yeah, but it's accumulation of repeating the same action over and over and over in different areas that create distrust and empty your account of trust, so to speak.
Well, every promise that is kept is actually a deposit into that trust account that we keep talking about, into your relationship. But at the same token, every promise that is broken, it's a withdrawal.
Yeah.
So if you're breaking a promise more than you're keeping those promises, you're taking out more than you're putting in, meaning that there's going to be possibly a negative in your account. And that's dangerous.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, the enemy knows exactly what buttons to push in your relationship to cause discord. And
And something as simple as this. The other day, I remember the other day we were talking about we would try to have dinner at a certain time because our kid doesn't like to have dinner late.
Yeah.
They are getting old.
We're getting old too.
Yes, but something as simple as this. For example, be home. If you said that you're gonna be home at one time, just be at that time. But what about if you're stuck in traffic?
Right.
What about if your intentions are good and you say, okay, I'm planning to be there. We're gonna have dinner at 6 o'clock and everybody's ready. You call me during the day. Hey, are you sure that you're gonna be home at 6? That way, the meal is already at the table
Right.
and everything is
Right.
is set. That way
For
we can
6.
sit down for 6.
Right.
If you are traveling, let's see, and over here in Virginia Beach, we have a lot of bridge and
Tunnels,
traffic
yeah.
and tunnels. And let's see that you got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
The GPS tell you at what time you will arrive.
Right.
And if you know that it will be at 6:30, don't wait until 6 o'clock to call and say, I'm running late.
Right.
No, just call 15, 20 minutes before time. That way your partner know that you intentionally trying to keep a promise, but because of a circumstances happen, you will not be able to. Because life happen and you cannot have everything black and white because
Correct.
you have great areas. So the whole idea is that if I call ahead of time and I said, baby, I'm stuck in traffic. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it at 6. The GPS says that I'm gonna make it at 6:30, but I call you at 6:45. I mean 5:45, for example. You know that I'm intentionally trying to keep my promises.
Well, and you're being aware of it.
But if it is 6 o'clock,
Right.
and I have not called, and you call me, hey, where are you? Oh, I'm stuck in traffic.
The first thing that I'm gonna say is what? Why didn't you call me?
Exactly. Why you did not call me? Because
Right.
you already set the table. Everything is
Right.
at the table. Now it creates a discomfort.
Right.
And now you have to warm the food again. I mean, it's being intentional
Right.
is what I'm saying.
Well, and thinking about the other person, you talk about something simple like just dinner. And let's be honest, it's sometimes hard, like you said, it's hard to sometimes make it all at the same time. The kids are in sports, our older daughter's working at night, in the evening. Sometimes you get a call and you have to go to meetings. So sometimes it's not as easy as as you think it is, for us at least. And I imagine for other families as well. But it goes back to what you just said, and I'm glad you said that, is being intentional about it. We're going to try to do this. This doesn't mean it might not work for every day of the week. But on the days that we can all gather together, let's try to set that appointment for 6:30, whatever it is that we can all make it, but be intentional because life does happen. And I don't think it's such a big deal for me, right? But not everybody's the same. Like we were talking about my daughter. If you tell her something's gonna happen, she's planning accordingly. And when those promises are broken, it affected her a lot as a little kid. I think for you is too. You get very discouraged when something doesn't go a certain way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's hard to I don't know, to accommodate in your mind when you feel so discouraged and so let down by something minor. But the thing is that those minor little things start building and building and building. What happens to your bank account when you take out $1? If you take out a dollar, I don't know, 50 times a day, it's $50.
$50,
right?
yes.
It's no longer $1. It's $50.
Yes.
And if you're doing that 50 times a day times, every day of the month, so 30 days, how much is that? Do you see what I'm saying? Like it starts accumulating and it starts creating a level of doubt in your partner because now what you're basically saying is that he can't keep his commitments.
But the opposite is true. What about if you deposit $1
Every day.
Every day?
Like 50 times a day.
50 times a
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
You build a solid foundation on trust. And one of the biggest issue in trust, and we have learned this through the years. I mean, we have to learn this, is keeping responsibility. When keeping the responsibility, I remember that sometime you tell me, baby, you're gonna make it early at home. Can you do this and do that, and
Right.
or put the dishes to the
Out of the dish, the
yes, or put the clothing in the washing machine.
or in the dryer.
It could be as something as simple as possible, and and we sometimes we don't pay attention to those little things because we don't think it's a big deal, but it could be a big deal because
When it's done all the time.
yes, it's like you were saying, it draw money out of your trust account.
Yeah. Well, consistency is what creates the confidence. And if you're consistently keeping up with what you promise, even when sometimes there's a small deviation, you will create then the confidence in your partner to believe the things that come out of your mouth. There won't be there will be very little times of doubt. And that's honestly, that is the point, right? To create that that foundation so that it doesn't create those doubts in your marriage. We don't need that. You know, couples already struggle enough with plenty of other situations that come up and struggles. We don't need to add to that unless it's, you know, when it's something that we can control and something that's easy to be mindful of. But you have to be intentional. You really have to be
What about
intentional.
practice transparency?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and we talked already a little bit about that, but let's go into that because honestly, being trustworthy or being truthful is not enough. Sometimes you can say the truth, but it's almost like you're pulling it out of the other person. I shouldn't have to be questioning you every time you walk through the door because you're not.
Even when you say the truth.
Right. Even when you're being truthful and you'll tell me everything, then it starts creating like I'm a nagging wife. I shouldn't be put in that position. Right? And the same goes for you.
Yes.
You shouldn't have to be pulling information out of me. In a relationship, when you're in a committed relationship, when you're in a marriage, that should create an automatic for the other spouse. I should not have to wait for him to ask me, where have you been? What you've been doing? Who were you with? What, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes that's going to happen. I'm not saying that you should, hey, what did you do today? Oh, really? How was work? Did you go to that meeting? How was your meeting? That's not what I mean. I mean that in the big things, there shouldn't be an interrogation every time I walk through the door or every time he walks through the door because I am voluntarily sharing that information. So he doesn't have to be put in the position of being my interrogator. This is not the FBI. This is my
Yes.
home.
Yes.
I shouldn't have to feel like I'm going through this whole interrogation from my spouse because I have not created that level of trust with him because I'm being transparent in everything that I'm doing every day.
And I remember you shared a quote with me, and I read it from TikTok
Oh yeah.
the other day too, as well. The difference between integrity and transparency,
Yeah.
and it blew my mind because I never thought about it that
Yeah,
the
I
way
can't remember who wrote that.
I don't know who did it, but it was not our, and we did
Yeah.
not come up with this concept, but it was a powerful concept, and this is what it says: integrity is when your wife or your spouse asks you, "How was your day?" For example, and you say, "My day went like this. It went this, and that."
Right.
Right? That's integrity.
Right.
Transparency is when you don't even have to ask me how my day was.
Correct.
Hey, baby, let me tell you about my day. Man, it was crazy today.
Yeah.
I mean, something as simple as sharing the
Right.
information even before your partner even ask you. It's such a powerful thing that
Yeah.
build trust so high because
Yeah.
I don't even have to. You were not obligated at that point to tell me, but you did because you feel safe, and safe is a key aspect in building trust.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I realize, and we are very good at this, is that we could be very secure in who we are to be transparent with each other without being afraid.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
example,
Absolutely.
something as simple as this. Baby, how these clothes make me look. That's a big issue for men right there, for many times, because what do I say? Do I tell my wife that she looks fat in this clothing, or do I say, oh yes, baby, yes, yeah, oh yes, you look good. You know what? The interesting part is that your partner is not looking for you to be ugly at
No,
her,
absolutely not.
but it is there are way to say
Yeah.
that, baby, that clothing, that clothes did not fit you well.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if you are a little bit more
Curvy.
or
thinner.
or thinner. The bottom line is not every clothing is for every type of body, and
That's correct.
sometimes you put a clothing that even make you look bigger or make you look skinnier.
Right. Skinny.
Skinny. And the whole idea is just the fact that we have this kind of communication to say, okay, baby, I don't like how that look on you.
I like that one better.
I like the other one
Yeah.
better. You don't get offended, and that give husbands the security to be even more transparent. But if I said to you, baby, that clothing that you put on, I don't like it. You get offended. You're calling me fat, and you are doing this.
Yeah.
I know what that does. It creates. It closed the door, so to speak,
Well,
for you
you're
to
not
be
gonna feel comfortable
authentic.
right, and sharing
The
sharing
same thing you
anything.
do with me with my
Yeah.
sermon. I mean, explain that to the people. That way they know exactly what I mean.
I was hoping you did it. No, but he'll ask me, like, after church, after he's preached, every single time he preaches, he asks me the same thing: how was my sermon? And he doesn't just ask me; he asks our kids as well. Usually, I'm the one that speaks up, but
And
they
could be very brutal. I tell you,
they're
my
gonna.
wife doesn't sugarcoat her.
I am very honest, but because I feel I can be. If I can't be honest with him, who is going to be honest with him? If it's good, I'm going to tell you that sermon like knocked it out of the park, right? But if it wasn't, maybe he was rushing too much, or he just stuck on a point for too long, I'm going to tell him that.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable telling him that. And sometimes he will tell me, wow, so that was terrible. And I'm like, no, that is not what I said. But it gives us that openness to be able to critique each other. And, you know, sometimes I'll cook something and he'll eat it because he eats just about anything. But I can tell that it wasn't that great. So I'm like, you don't like that very much. He's like, no, it's okay, you know. But that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. Everything doesn't always have to be this perfection. In a relationship with couples, you know.
And one last thing on this comment: you don't have to be ugly
Right.
to the other person to be transparent.
That's right.
For
That's
example,
Or rude.
or rude. If for example, when I preach and you call me out and said, you know, this phrase that you say, your English was not clear in this, because English is my second language, and or this phrase need a little bit more clarification. You don't have to you don't have to be mean.
Right.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Absolutely.
You don't have to say your English was terrible today.
Yeah,
I mean,
literally.
you have been here for almost 30 years in this country, and you still struggle with your English. What's wrong with you? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that creates closed doors.
Right.
That's,
because that's gonna make you shut down.
Yeah.
Because okay, well, you don't have to be ugly to me for that, you know.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people make the mistake. Well, she want me to be truthful, but she cannot handle the truth. No, a truth, even said in a wrong moment, is as damaging as an lie. In a wrong way.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful when you communicate with your partner, to be sensitive and to be tactful.
when you're delivering.
And careful.
Yeah.
When you speak to your partner.
The fewer secrets you have and the more openness, that is what the point is. You have to try and make sure that you don't have secrets in a relationship. Now, I have a secret that he doesn't know yet because I got him a really nice gift for Father's Day. Well, that's a different thing, right? It's not about that you cannot create now a secret in that sense. That's not necessarily a secret. That's a surprise, right?
Yeah.
But, so the cat is out of the bag. But anyway, the point is he still doesn't know what it is, right? But I don't have
tell.
to. I'm not sharing. But, the fewer secrets, then you create an openness, right? And you feel comfortable in everything. This includes all topics. Finances, friendships.
Yes.
Friendships.
Be careful with those friends.
Be careful. Be careful who you surround yourself with. Because let me tell you, I have known people that say that they're your friends, but they're constantly creating division in your marriage. That is not a friend that you need to have around. No one should be coming between my husband and I. No friend, no family, no anybody. Not children, not anybody. The minute you surround yourself with certain people that now have created doubt for your spouse. So I tend to have a lot, I've always been close with guys. Like I have friends, I used to have a lot of guy friends. But I always lean to have a relationship with guys. I have never, ever put myself in a situation where my husband has to doubt that that's a friend. Or for him to feel like, I don't know about that friendship. No, because I will make sure that those friendships are over. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I'm never going to, I guess it gave us a thumbs up.
Yes.
I'm never going to put myself in a position where he's going to doubt me.
Yeah.
But that comes from me. I have to make sure I keep myself in check. Oh, it keeps giving us a thumbs up. I don't know if they're going to be able to see that in the video, but just in case, there's some thumbs up that keeps popping up. So be careful with friendships, social media.
And also be careful with friendship.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Your friends may be married as well.
Right.
Right? And sometimes their relationship with their spouse is not in a good place.
Good point to bring up, yes.
And sometimes guys get together, for example. I have seen it a lot. Guys come together to speak badly about their spouse.
Yes.
And that for me is a big no-no.
Big no-no.
Because integrity, be respectful of your partner, is also when you defend your partner, regardless. You may it's like a mom always say this to when they talks about kids. They said, I know the issues that my kids had in their own life, but do not touch them.
Don't touch my kids.
Don't touch my kid.
Yeah, don't touch my spouse.
Exactly. and it is so sad. That's
so sad.
People get together and the topic of conversation
is bashing their spouses.
Is putting down the person that you live with.
Right.
And the person that is faithful to you and the person that I have been there. And the Bible is clear, it says that if you don't love your spouse, you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why people tend to unload with strangers and with friends something that is happening internally at home.
Yeah, and just be careful with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, just really be careful with stuff like that. So, listening is another aspect, right? Learning to actually listen without having to listen just to defend yourself, or to have a reaction, like a response. I think that's a huge huge situation, and you touch a little bit on that, right? Trust grows when people feel heard, but if you're constantly shutting the other person down, like you were mentioning about the dress, right?
Yeah.
If I'm constant, he's my partner, right? Who am I gonna ask? Hey, what do you think about this dress? If he can't feel comfortable sharing, I don't know. I don't really like that dress too much, right? And if I get offended every single time he's
I
trying to
will
be
not tell you
honest,
anymore.
and he's not being ugly about it, he's just being honest about it, then why would he say something? You know, the next thing what I'm gonna get? Well, I don't know. Don't ask me, right? He's gonna shut down because he doesn't want to be put in that situation. He's not trying to get a fight out of this conversation. So just listen or learn to listen without getting defensive or trying to defend yourself every single time. That creates a level of trust that I can come to you and share anything, to my spouse. And I mean, I know we've talked about this a little bit, but there is a text in James 1:19 that says everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. And if we can really live by that and use that as a principle, then I think our relationship gets stronger, right? So
we forgot to talk about something, and I'm gonna bring it back a little bit.
That's
maybe. Something that we need to be very careful when we talk about trust is with our own kids.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Kids know how to push the button, and they know
How to play the parents.
how they play the parents. And when they are, even when they are little, it's unbelievable how quickly they get it.
Oh yes.
I for example, they come to me and they said, Papa, can you buy me this? Sure, yes, I buy you this. But they already went to mom, and mom says no.
No.
So here is something that is very important. If sometime that had happened to us, and you are very vocal about it, you do not hold back. You said, I already say no to that. My position as dad,
right,
is not to be, why are you making that decision?
Right.
No. It says, you ask your mother and she say no. It is no, even though I say yes, because we are a unit
Right.
of one. That's what the Bible says. They become one flesh. And kids, they need to understand, for example, and we make that mistake very often.
Right.
When the kid said, we hear this phrase that, don't tell your dad or don't tell your mom, they will kill you. I think we need to fix that. That's not a good combination in building trust. Now, granted, there are sometimes, for example, I'm more emotional with certain things. You are more logical in your approach of things.
Right.
I always said that she is the man of the house, I'm the woman of the house.
That's not true.
When it comes to the emotions, I'm more emotional.
Yeah.
And sometime there are times that our kids say something to you, but your response had been, okay, if you don't want to say this to your dad, let me handle this. I will tell him. Because you already know in which way to communicate to soften the blow,
Yeah.
so to speak,
Right.
or to help me handle the emotion in such a way that I have a clear understanding and a clear path of what the issue is and how to resolve the issue.
And something else, I don't know if you gather this, but I'm also trying to keep that bridge open, because
Yeah.
it doesn't help when our kids come to you and share stuff that you're like, okay, well, let's see how we're going to move forward with this, right? I don't want to break that bridge between us and them. And, sometimes when I'm like, okay, I'll take this. Like, I'm going to take this. I'll communicate with your dad. It's a way for me to keep that bridge open for you guys, because, and it's the same thing backwards. You've done that to me as well, because we have 3 children, and they all have different personalities. They have different characters.
And they click with one or the other better than...
Which is fine.
Which
like,
is fine.
For us, that's a blessing. As long as they're coming to one of us, I'm happy, because they're still keeping us in the loop.
Mm-hmm.
So we keep each other in check. But something else I wanted to add to that same thing, even when they come and say, don't tell dad, I'm like, that doesn't happen. Not with us. I will tell your dad.
Yes. And I said the same thing.
He says the same thing.
I will tell you, Mom.
You're not going to create a level of secrets here.
Yes.
I may marinate on how and when to share that information, because, again, I'm trying to, one, be wise about what I'm communicating, how I'm communicating, but it will happen. I am not keeping secrets from my husband. Yeah. That's just not going to happen, right? And same the other direction. I would not expect anything different. And I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes, our kids will share something. Like, it just happened this weekend. I was talking. We were talking to our friends, and I was like, "Oh, by the way, I haven't told you this, but..." And then I shared it, and then he told me. He said, "When were you gonna tell me that?" Well, honestly, I don't know the details yet, but I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't intentionally
hiding anything or anything like that.
I just totally forgot, right? But it's important to make sure that I tell him, hey, I didn't keep that from you. I literally just forgot to tell you that this is probably coming up. And again, it has to do with kids' activities and things they want to do. But yes, that is super important. I'm so glad you touched on that.
Now, let me touch on this area as well, because this is extremely important. I'm a pastor, and sometimes members say things that it is not healthy to share those information with the rest of your family, even though you should be confident about it. But you wanted to create, and there is a level, and there is a theme line. If I know that my wife is not in an emotional place, or some information will create something that is extremely damaging in your person, and I can solve it, or I can address the issue and try to get the issue out.
Right.
I will.
Yeah.
Without giving you a lot of details on it.
Right.
But eventually I will tell you, baby, I addressed this issue. It's already solved. You don't have to worry about it. Right. It's already taken care of. This happened. But at least we don't create that, because we need to be real in this, and that's reality.
Right.
Sometimes people share things with me or do things to me because, I mean, you want it to be likable as a pastor, but the reality is not everybody will like you.
Nope.
And not everybody will agree with you. And sometimes people, especially in this country, they don't know how to agree to disagree. They attack you and they become very ugly. And if you share that with your spouse, how ugly people were to you, it can create a distance from them and their relationship as well, and hurt even coming to church.
Absolutely.
So we are not saying, I mean, God will give us wisdom
100%.
sometime to share some things. For example, I know that when we talk about our kids, sometimes I address some issue with my daughters, and because I'm very emotional, and you tell me, I will handle this, don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. And you handle it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you say, you know what, it's already taken care of. Mm-hmm. And that is not hiding, and that is not creating distrust. It's also protecting your partner from an unnecessary hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you will.
I mean, that is part of being a partner,
yes.
right?
Yes.
I do want to clarify something, because I think you touch on something that, and I don't know if there's pastoral, couples out there, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say this because he's the pastor and I'm the spouse. There's things that are confidential.
Yes.
And he will not be able to tell me.
No.
And I have to be okay with that.
Yes.
And I'm not going to make his life
miserable.
difficult or miserable because he can't share those confidential conversations. So I'm saying that because I don't know what your spouse or your partner, what type of jobs they have. There are certain times that we have couples that are in the military. And we have people in the military that have, top clearance. They can't share that with anybody.
Yes.
Right? That's information they cannot share. And you have to respect that.
And be okay with it.
And be okay with that. Because it's not about them. There's nothing in your relationship that they're keeping. Now, if they are, that's a whole different conversation. But you have to remember that if they're in a role, like my husband is, I don't think I've ever given you a difficult time with that at all.
Never.
Because first of all, I really don't want to know. I don't want to know. I'm not one of those people.
You are a very weird person. Because
I guess I am weird. I just don't want to know.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, when people don't want to know, is when people actually come and want to share.
Oh, they want to share all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. They share sometimes things with you that not
they'll
with
share
me.
with you. I really don't want to. I'm not interested. Like, I care for people, but I don't need to know their most deep personal
Sorrows
information.
and things like that.
I don't need to know that, right?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. And I respect those boundaries because I think it's important. I do not need to add to his stress levels.
Yes.
By then, him coming home and me being, like, well, you don't talk about your job and you don't talk about what you said and what was your conversation. No, he can't always do that. There's conversations that are not confidential, and yeah, we can talk about it, but there's conversations that are 100% confidential, and we need to make sure that that we're keeping that. So yeah. Anyways, I think we've brought the idea, right?
Yes.
So anyways, moving on to like another topic that feeds our bank or not feeds, but I guess deposit into our bank.
Trust account.
Be faithful in the little things.
Mm-hmm. It's not the big thing.
It's not the big thing.
It's not the big thing. It's never have been in the big thing. In fact, even when you go through big traumas in life, when you go through hardcore seasons, you tend to be more close together.
Yeah.
And you tend to pull together. Yes,
hopefully.
No, I mean, usually people, when they go through a hard season, families come together and usually. But it is the little things that we don't see.
Yeah, it's because trust is built by little bit.
Yes.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Showing up, being dependable, being emotionally present, following through on small commitments. Again, these are things that we keep hammering because they're the foundation of what you're feeding or depositing into your bank for the future. This strengthens the core of your relationship. And it's super, super, important.
Something as simple as even to know the password of your phone.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I have seen couples that they constantly changing their password in their phone because their spouse figured the password up. And they constantly changing that. Let me tell you something. My wife know my password. Not from my phone, from the bank account, from my email. If I do something bad, I will be in trouble immediately. In fact, we have been so connected to a degree that the other day I was driving and I say, I'm hungry. I want to stop in a place to eat. And she said, yeah, I know you want to stop in this place
and order this thing.
And I look in my car and I started looking and said, do I have a microphone or recording over here in the car?
He did freak out a little bit. He's like,
babe. I did.
Oh, that was
because
funny.
when you know each other and when you are authentic, you already even know how even the things that you like and you don't like. And that's the beauty of it. Yes.
That's so funny. This really did happen, what, Thursday, I think?
Yeah.
He really did freak out a little bit. But no, it's
She's a psychic.
I laugh because every time that happens, he's like, "How did you do that?" I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know anything.
Yeah. Don't hide anything from your wife.
Yeah.
That's the point.
That's the point.
That's
the point is, and to be honest, he knows all my passwords, but he does half the time he doesn't remember.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
she has
because I
to.
don't
She
share.
has to put like 9 or 10 numbers in her phone, like she's from the SBI or anything like that. But mine is very simple: 4 letters and that's it. But
4
her
numbers.
is 4 numbers. Yes, and you are.
Oh my
all
goodness.
over
He's
the
just
place
saying
with
that
that.
I'm
Yes.
complicated. I
Yes.
am not complicated. Anyway,
Very much so.
the point is that he forgets these passwords. I don't. So I remember all his passwords, even when he doesn't, which is really funny to me.
Yeah.
But being consistent, being honest, being transparent, all these things, being truthful, telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. I don't know, avoid half truths. I mean, I mentioned this before. Just be honest through and through. Why do you have to wait to get questioned? Again, I hate that. I dislike that. I dislike doing that to him, and I totally dislike that for him to do that. But the reason why your spouse or your partner is doing that is because you're not doing your job. So I'm here to tell you, if you're feel like you're being interrogated every time you walk through the door, you're creating that doubt in your spouse or in your partner. Fix that. That will change if you share more, if you're more, honest. So
And I think to kind of bringing this to a close, I want to close, or we want to close in the spiritual sense.
mm-hmm.
Because reality is trust is built in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a passage in the Bible that says, if God doesn't build a house, in vain the laborers work.
No.
I believe that every single moment of trust is built in your relationship that you have with God.
Mm-hmm.
The stronger your relationship with God is, the stronger your relationship in your marriage and in your family will be. So as couple, and we are biased in this regard, but if you are out there and you're listening to this podcast, and to a degree you have not committed yourself to the Lord fully, or your relationship have somehow struggled, we want to be clear and transparent with you. God can fix any broken heart.
Amen.
And God can bring families together.
Yes.
That's his greatest desire.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, stronger relationship, especially when it comes to trust, is built on the foundation of trusting God, being faithful to him, love him with all of your heart, leaning not in your own understanding, and acknowledging him in everything you do in your life.
Yeah, be kind, be compassionate to one another, love each other, respect each other. There's a simple prayer that we had added for today, and it says, Lord, help us become trustworthy spouses. Teach us to be honest, faithful, dependable, and full of grace. May our marriage reflect your love, and may trust grow stronger every day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
We hope that for you guys, this could be a reality.
Yes.
We really do. I mean, this topic is hard, and sometimes we struggle with it more than we realize. But be trustworthy. Build that foundation. Build that level with your spouse. It just adds so much richness and happiness, because then I'm happy because I feel comfortable in my relationship. I don't have to doubt him. I don't have to think about, is he really being honest? Is he being transparent? What is he doing? What is he not doing? I don't have to live like that. I think it's horrible when you have to live like that. So, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for pulling up a chair and just hearing us chat about a topic that we think is important. Thanks for listening to our back and forth. And this conversation really encouraged you, then share it with somebody. Share the podcast, and we will see you again soon
Yes.
with a different topic. Bye, guys.
Bye.